Tennessee in the SEC. It's always a big night. Anytime you have a loaded night in the SEC, a lot of cannibalization. I mean, pretty much every day it seems like a new storyline. The one thing that's been consistent, Tennessee is damn good at home, and they have been locked in defensively at home. They played Mississippi State today, who we saw over the weekend look damn good. They go on the road. They score 56. They only have 16 points in the first half, as Tennessee was just locked down. Chaz Lanier leads the way with 23 points. And for the Vols, back on track after going to Nashville and losing a close one this past weekend. Goodman, seems like that's just kind of life in the SEC. But the one thing you can count on is Tennessee when they're at Thompson Bowling.
Yeah, I mean, their only two losses have come at Florida, where they were absolutely embarrassed, and then at Vandy last game. Right. Mm-hmm. And Vandy's a tough place to play. And Byington's done a pretty good job. He's done a very good job, actually, with the roster. Yeah. He's done a terrific job this season. I'm glad they won this because I'm going to be at that Auburn game this weekend, Tennessee at Auburn. And I want that to be, it's going to be a great game. It's going to be, and I want to see Tennessee play well going into it, not limp into that game. And they look great defensively. I mean, listen, Mississippi State is a tough team to guard. I mean, you've got Josh Hubbard, one of the toughest guards in the country in terms of getting his own shot, and he's not nearly as reliant. Chris Chance isn't nearly as reliant on Hubbard this year. Melendez has been playing better, and Claudell Harris gives him another weapon, transferring from Boston College, and I think Matthews has been terrific for them as a mainstay guy. Riley Kugel comes off the bench last game and has a huge game, or 2 games ago. So I think they've got more weapons this year. But, again, when Tennessee wants to turn off the water, they can do it. If they put their mind to it, they can do it. And that means they don't need to – everybody criticizes them because, again, they're not a great offensive team. And if Chaz Lanier struggles, who's going to score? Milicic, struggled tonight again shooting the ball. But they can win the game with their defense. They don't have to score a lot of points. They can grind it and win a game just by holding a team to, 56 points tonight.
Oof. I agree, Jeff. Their defense is going to travel, and the 2 losses this year. The Florida game seemed to me is just one of those games, and I've been on both sides of that where – you're on the Florida side and everything's going right, and it's just you can't miss. They can't make a shot. I've been on the other side where you can't make a shot and you get absolutely blitzkrieged and run out of the building. So I think we got to take that game and kind of put it aside, and we know how good Florida is. And then, Vanderbilt, I mean, it's a tough place to play. And you said it, Jeff. Mark Byington's doing, a terrific job kind of getting some life back into that program. But this Mississippi State team is good. And, Josh Hubbard, when he's clicking, at one point in time this season, early in the year, I think it was in late November, he had 1 turnover. The ball's in his hands so much, to think about that. I mean, this team's good. For Tennessee to shut them down, I mean, to hold them in the 50s that's how good defensively they can be. Are they in the same category as – a top 10 team in terms of, Auburn or Duke? No, I don't think they're in that category. But are they a team that can make, can they get to the second weekend? 100%. I mean, but this just shows you how good the SEC is.
It's really good. And another team that impressed in the SEC tonight is the one that is on my hat, the Alabama Crimson Tide, just 2 nights in a row.
The Tide. He loves the Tide.
Just shooting the hell out of the basketball.
Master's degree.
Ever since I enrolled, I kind of bolted on Kentucky, which is
Master's degree. Roll Tide.
Roll damn Tide, Paul. But the offense has been on supercharged the last couple of days. They scored over 100 again today. They're shooting the hell out of the ball. If you look at tonight and inside the box score, it was Diabate was just he was unstoppable. Great game for the Tide. Vandy didn't play bad. They a couple times they tried to scratch, claw, cut it to 10, but every time Alabama had an answer, and you could tell Jeff Goodman, Nate Oates was fired up tonight with these guys.
I mean, he's just got so many weapons, and he's down. Darian Reed right now isn't even playing. And sometimes, and McCall can speak to this, sometimes it's easier if you only got like 8 guys, right? Everybody kind of knows what they're doing. They're going to get extended minutes, so they're going to get a chance to play through some mistakes and, get loose and heat up a little bit. And Mark Sears has played over the last month. The first month, I thought Mark Sears really struggled. I remember seeing him in Vegas, and I was like, he does not look like himself at all. And really since then, since December, the last month and a half, he's played as well as almost anybody in the country. I mean, he's been an All-American over those 6 weeks because he can score when he needs to, but he can make people better. Aiden Holloway tonight was on it, and Diabate is just so tough. Like, he's the most invaluable guy in a lot of ways for that team because he gives them the toughness and the defense, and because they're not great defensively. I mean, listen, for all they scored, they gave up 87 to Vandy, and they're going to need to tighten that one up because we talked about Tennessee and how good they can be defensively. Well, you're not going to want to rely on outscoring teams for 6 straight games if you want to win the whole thing. And Nate Oates has got to figure that out. I talked to him about it last week when I saw him in South Carolina. They're inconsistent on that end. And again, they could score with anybody.
And they have the last couple of games against Kentucky and tonight against Vanderbilt. Well, nice win for Alabama.